Well, hi, everybody. Alex Goff here, and we're talking the Urban Rugby Championships. And I'm speaking with Leroy Taylor, who is a veteran of Memphis Inner City Rugby, played at the University of Memphis, and also will be speaking at the Urban Rugby Championships, but and is involved with Urban Rugby America. Leroy, great to have you to talk about this. And just to kick it off, I have to say, and I haven't been to everyone. I did go to one that was in LA and terrible weather, but actually that turned out to be kind of fun because everybody was hanging out in the basketball courts in
Yeah.
between games. I had so much fun with those guys. Everybody was just so happy to have that tournament going on. So tell first off, just welcome,
Yeah, no.
talk about it, but the joy in there is just is infectious.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. Well, I want to say I thank you for having me on your platform, Alex.
Yeah,
Really appreciate what you do, spreading the word of rugby around and just doing your amazing work.
thanks.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of these tournaments as well, as many as I can. DC, of course, Memphis. I've been to one there.
Yeah,
I'll be here in Dallas. It's where I live now, so
great.
I'm super excited for this tournament to see some of these kids in these programs and watch them compete.
Excellent. What is sort of the what are the impressions? Do you get feedback? Do you talk to kids who've been in it or coaches who've been involved in it? What's the kind of feedback you get from what it means to them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think apart from just playing the game of rugby, the opportunity to travel, the competition between people from similar backgrounds to them, and just the exposure in front of other coaches and other spectators that may have never known who they were before they stepped on the pitch. Approximately about 11 to 20% of all Americans have never left their state where they were born. And you can think just out of that 20%, even a smaller percent of those come from low income households that earn less than $20,000, make even less trips to other states. So a lot of these kids have never even been out of the place they were born, and having that opportunity to travel and to be in a state and play a game that they love, I think it's pretty cool. And it's some of the things I've heard.
Excellent, excellent. Urban Rugby Championship, the weekend of March 21st at Faith Family Academy in the Dallas area. Actually, I think it's their Oak Cliff campus, if I'm not mistaken, and sevens, which I think is just, I mean, for a weekend tournament, just lends itself better for that. But it also, Leroy, I mean, I mean, it opens it up to programs who maybe don't have a lot of players and just able to, field a sevens team.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, just having that, again, availability, resources, being
Yeah.
able to get the amount of kids on the 15th team, and then being able to get the amount of kids on the 7th team, it holds different weight. And so I think it'd be cool either way for those girls and guys to get out there and run like seven. I mean, I
Yeah.
love 15s, but sevens is super fun to watch.
Right, absolutely. You picked up rugby at MICR, Memphis Inner City Rugby. Um, what did that do for you? I mean, did you know? Did you even comprehend rugby before you joined that program? Yeah,
Man, it honestly, it was a different world for me. I didn't
yeah,
really think about what it would do for me in the long run. I'm super appreciative of Shane and the staff at MICR, my coaches throughout the years. Um, when I started, there was no URC.
yeah,
So the only exposure I had to other kids playing rugby besides of the state that I was living in is when I was a scholarship student for the Atlas rugby tournament or camps
yeah,
and Nike rugby camps and things like that. And there was only five students who were on scholarship. So I
yeah.
maybe had four other cohorts that understood where I came from when I went out
Sure.
to these camps to practice and play. And it really opened up the world for me. So I was able to travel to different countries. I was able to travel all over the U.S., meet coaches, U.S. players, participate in college teams, and so it really did open up a lot of opportunities for me.
The Urban Rugby Championship, though, I think kind of. and we can get caught up in talking about African American kids, which is a lot of it, but
Hmm.
it's not everybody, right? So you got teams that could be all Hispanic, right? All Latin, or all Polynesian kids, and
Hmm.
this is still they come from an urban setting, often like their families are struggling, things like that. So I mean, would you agree with that? Is that some of the things you've seen when you've gone to the tournament?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is that the Urban Rugby tournament or a championship, it allows for exposure.
Yeah,
It brings attention to these inner city programs where they're a small fish in a large pond, right?
yeah,
Where 3% of U.S. rugby athletes are minorities.
right.
So this game is pushing a point, and I think that is really cool to see Urban Rugby America, even with their newer initiatives that they have for this year, put more development in these programs to allow them to flourish for years and years and create that development, and then create people like me who've had that experience and can share with others.
Excellent. We have the U.S. Rugby Foundation is behind it. Obviously, Shane Young, who started MICR, now the CEO of the U.S. Rugby Foundation, which I think is a terrific thing. And all of this entire cause matters to him.
Yeah, shout out Shane. And he would hate that if he heard me say that. This dude is incredible, and I think some of the things that we talk a lot, and some of the things that which is crazy for me to be a almost a 9, 10 year
Yeah,
alumni, still talking to my high school coach. So it's pretty cool to see or hear about some of the things he have planned and his passion for this game, but his passion really dives deep in grassroots rugby and allowing these programs to flourish and to get access to larger rugby communities like college teams and MLR and things like that.
yep.
So what he's doing with the USA Rugby Foundation is cool, and the USA Rugby Foundation has always been a part of grassroots growth. I think with him at the helm, he will really put a lot more initiative to it and a lot more just a Shane way of being aggressively proactive.
No, I love that. It's great. Shane, unleash Shane on the unsuspecting populace. I think that's fantastic. The Shane way. Yeah, one of the things, like if we look at the U.S. national teams, that's where we've seen a big change from years. And obviously, we saw the rise of Carlin Isles and Perry Baker. Kayvon Williams captained the USA Sevens team. Um, and the reason he captained because he was a terrific leader. That's the only reason he's captain. You look at what the women's sevens team is doing right now, and Erica Koulibaly, Kaylin Thomas, Sue Adegoke from the Play Rugby program, Ariana Ramsey as well. Just at the highest level, we're seeing kids from who are minorities playing well. Uh, does that matter? Does that matter in the Urban Rugby Championship? Because you talk about broadening horizons and having fun, and I think that's super important. Does saying, "Hey, you can be an Olympian," things like that, does that matter too?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not just hope, but you have a goal. You know, that ceiling is raised. I mean,
Mm,
now you have someone to look up to. And some of the things that I've seen done, so a lot of these USA rugby players are mentors in these youth programs. They actually call and talk to these people. I've been able to meet with them, and I've seen that what that does for the youth in just in my own experience. So I think it's pretty cool. Not only what they're doing for inner city rugby, I think it's cool what they're doing for just the broader of just being a representation and going back and mentoring in places that they came from. I mean, imagine being able to go back to school and brag about the Olympian you just talked to for the
that's
last
it.
hour and a half, and you
Yeah.
have a working relationship with them, being able to, be uh, in the game. It's one thing to play a sport. It's one thing to go to practice, but to be invested into USA Rugby, I think that's what we need right? Because that branches out, right? Now you not just playing the sport, but you're telling your friends about it. You're telling your family members about it. Now they're tuning in and watching these players play on such a large scale and representing our country in such a great way. So I think it's pretty cool to see those interactions happen and see their excitement after it's done. And then, again, it gives them a scale to go by, and they know what type of work they need to put into, and not just in
Yeah,
school, but also in, their health and understanding, well, I live in an area that does not have organic food available to me.
right.
How can I make that an issue? How can I make a point about that now in my community so that I can get healthier food so that I can perform better and I can play better, right?
Yeah,
It's really cool.
absolutely. I mean, that's a huge issue. Obviously, within cities, and they come, whether it's food deserts, grocery store deserts, or just
Mhm.
the struggle to get to understand what is the kind of food you should be consuming for a young person, especially a young athlete. You're speaking at the Urban Rugby Championships, March 21st, in the Dallas area. What are you going to talk about?
That's a good question. I want to say, I
We'll
want to say
find
you got to
out
be
when you
there.
walk up there. Yeah, it might.
Yeah. Right. It's almost got to be there to see it. But I think one of the cool things I'll be able to talk to is just my experience. That's the only
Yeah,
thing I can be true to, right?
yeah,
I think I want to talk about the importance of um, just availability of resources.
yeah,
It kind of tied into some of the professional things I do now for work, but just kind of pushing that narrative that the only way to build that rugby community is to have resources that provide different things and having the right people in place to make a job happen. I think it's very doable. I think it's really attainable. I just think you got to put the right people in the right places and people who are passionate and about just life change. And that goes further than rugby, right? That
yeah.
that that creates young professionals and workspaces. That creates great parenting, and then great coaches. So, I think that's something where I'm gonna speak to in March
That's
20th.
right. When you say resources, now money, but not just money, coaching has got to be huge, right? Money,
Absolutely,
coaching, facilities, right?
absolutely.
Right. You give kids a when and where, right? And then you have great coaches. Do you think there's work to be done, saying like having people who like to coach rugby going, hey, where could I make? I could go here, right? I could coach at a with a URC team.
Yeah, um, absolutely. Coaching
Yeah,
matters for sure.
yeah.
I think another resource that is hard to come by and you lose more of it than you can get is time, right? And time is
Yeah.
is what? Money. So a lot of
Right.
times it's
Yeah.
not about getting the coaches that are passionate about it. It's about getting them something that they can receive as well, right? If I'm getting paid to go out here in a
Sure.
way, or if I'm getting some type of compensation to be able to do the work I really love, then I can sacrifice time away from something else to be able to make it happen in the right way. And that's always the hardest part for a lot of people in different areas that they always I don't have the time because I have to make money to provide for my family.
Right.
So creating a space like that, creating a way or a pathway to make that happen, I think will be another key to the growth
Great.
that we're
And
alluding to.
donate to the U.S. Rugby Foundation. I mean,
Absolutely.
donate to the U.S. Rugby Foundation. Tell them you want to support the Urban Rugby Championship and inner city rugby initiatives, and you know
It can
they'll
happen.
do that. Right, that'll happen. And I think that's great. There's nothing wrong with getting a coaching stipend. And I think if your school kids are practicing, when are they practicing? Between 3 and 6, generally, right?
Mhm.
Right after school would be the best time to get kids practicing. Well, that's in the middle of the workday, right? For those who have real jobs, unlike me, but that's in the middle of the workday. So,
Yeah.
I mean, a guy has an hourly job, right? He just gets docked hours. It really helps if you can help them have the time.
Right, absolutely. And we're talking it's definitely easier said than done, right?
Yeah,
And I think when we start to put great minds like Shane, who's created a system like this with MICR, who has a working system like this
yeah,
in different areas in the country, like Play Rugby USA. I think when you can get it in a broader aspect throughout the country. I think it's a no-brainer, right?
yeah.
A guy would go, of course, right? Alumni like me, like why not? Why not me? Why not I make that change? And it's gonna come from younger coaches and maybe some older coaches, but usually those younger guys and girls that have that passion who maybe just graduated college and want to give back to the game in some way, or maybe in college. I was playing rugby, coaching
Right.
rugby, so it's definitely an opportunity for a lot of different people. And like I said, it just takes the right person in the right spot to make it happen.
When you watch these kids play, how do you feel?
It lights a fire, man. I love watching. People love playing a sport. Right? I love seeing their passion behind it, um, and even going through the different emotions. Right, even when they're happy and winning, but also when they're losing and it's disappointing.
Yeah,
Because when they're losing and they're disappointed and they're upset and they're showing anger and sadness, it shows that they really care about what they're doing. I mean, which means that the work that these that coaches and people who are donating, the things that they're doing is working. Because when you can get them to care about it, they start to love the game and they want to give back to it, but also they want to fight hard for it. And they will do what it takes, whether it's in school and whether it's professionally. They'll do what it takes to make it happen in the long run. So I think that's really cool to see.
awesome. Well, Leroy Taylor helping any way he can with the Urban Rugby Championship. So another reminder that the 5th Urban Rugby Championship is being held the weekend of March 21st at the campus of Faith Family Academy in Dallas, Texas. Supported by the U.S. Rugby Foundation and Leroy, supported by people like you as well. And it's great that you're still cheering those kids on. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, Alex, for having me. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Man, I'm getting excited just talking
Yes,
about like
we
it's
are
like
ready.
weeks away, and I'm just like, man,
Woo!
give me the ball. I'll go out and
Hey,
play.
let's go. Let's go. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Have a good one.
It's inspiring. I love it. Just being around my brothers, and then just being around other kids and other teams that are predominantly African American. It's wonderful to see, and I love it. And it just makes me want to play rugby even more.